In this video, we're going to work through some percentage word problems. So this first problem here tells us that Sarah buys a dress that originally costs $80 and the store is having a 25% off sale. How much does Sarah pay for the dress after the discount? So remember, in order to find, first, in order to find the answer to this problem, we need to find out how much exactly the discount sale is going to take off of the original cost. So in order to do this, we need to remember the formula to find the percentage of a number. So I'll write this here over to the side. In order to find the percentage of a number, we can take the percentage. We will take the percentage times the total number, and that'll equal the percentage of the number. Okay, so we can use this formula right here. So we have 25% times $80 times $80, and we're gonna find the percentage of n. So we'll just write P of n, and remember that 25% just means 25 out of 100 parts. So we can write this as 25 over 100, and 25 over 100 is the same thing as 1/4. Okay, it's the same thing as 1/4. So we'll rewrite that. I'll show you over here. So 25% is equal to 25 over 100, and then both of these are divisible by 25. 25, of course, being 1. 25 divided by itself will be equal to 1, and then we divide 100 by 25, and that will get us 4. So 25% is the same thing as 1/4. We're going to multiply that by 80. And then we can see 1/4 times 80. So we just need to multiply 80 by 1 and then divide 80 by 4, since a fraction just means multiplying by the numerator and then dividing by the denominator. So we can scroll down here. So 80 times 1 is 80. And then that's going to be divided by 4. That's going to be divided by 4. And then we can do that. So 4 into 80. Let's see, 4 goes into 8 2 times. Then we subtract 8. So that is going to be 0. Drop down this 0. Drop down this 0. And then 4 goes into 0 0 times. So our answer is 20. So the percentage of n is $20. Is 20. And remember, we're looking for how much does Sarah pay for the dress after the discount. Okay, so $20 is what's going to be taken off the original cost. So we subtract 20 from 80, and 20 from 80 is 60, but we can work that out. So 80, and then 20. That's 0, and then that's 6. So the answer to how much does Sarah pay for the dress after the discount, that is $60. That is $60, and I can do that since you can. There's a lot of clutter here, so you can see the answer. So the original cost is 80. The discount was 25. So we subtracted the discount price, and that gives us the cost that she pays for the dress after the discount, which is $60. Now we are told that Jason scored 72 out of 90 on his math test. And we want to know what percentage of the answers he got right, or like it says, what percent did he score? And in order to find this, all we need to do is turn this into a fraction. So he scored 72. He scored 72 possible out of 90. 72 out of 90 possible. And in order to find the percentage that he scored, we need to first convert this into a decimal. So we could actually just divide here. So we could say 90 into 72, and of course this will be 0, so we add a decimal, 72, and then we drop down this 0. But remember that we could actually, we can't actually, but we could think about it logically. If we were to get rid of 1 0 from each of these, 72 divided by 90, or 720 divided by 90 is the same thing as 72 divided by 9, and we know that that is 8. So our answer here, well, not the final answer, but the answer to turn this into a decimal, is 0.8. And remember that we're talking in percentages, so what we need to do in order to convert a decimal to a percentage is multiply by 100, because a whole number, or say this was 90 out of 90, that would be the same thing as 1, which would be the same thing as 100%. So we need to multiply this by 100. We need to multiply that by 100. And remember, when we multiply by 100, that's going to move the decimal place 2 places to the right, so our answer will be 80. And we're talking in percentages here. What percent did he score? Jason scored an 80% on his math test. The next question tells us that a fruit basket contains 60 apples and 40 oranges. What percentage of the fruit basket is apples? Okay, so in order to find the percentage of the percentage of each fruit, we need to first determine the total amount of fruits. Well, we can see here, if there's only 60 apples and 40 oranges, that means in total there's going to be 100 different fruits. So we can write the total in white. So the total is going to be 100 fruits. And we want to know the percentage that is apples. We want to know the percentage that is apples. So we can see here that out of the 100, there are 60 apples in the basket. There are 60 apples in the basket. So in order to find the percentage of apples, we're going to first turn this into a decimal. So 60 over 100, that's the same thing as 6 over 10, because we can divide both of these numbers by 10. So that is going to be the same thing. That is going to be the same thing as 6 over 10. 6 over 10. And this is going to be the same thing as 0.6, because when you're dividing by 10, you're just going to move the decimal place. The decimal place was originally here. You're going to move it one place to the left. So it's going to leave us with 0.6. So we have 0.6. And now we're in decimal form. We need to turn this into a percentage, because we're looking for percentages here. And remember, in order to turn a decimal into a percentage, we need to multiply by 100. Multiply by 100. And that is going to give us, when you multiply by 100, you're moving the decimal place two places to the right. So that is going to leave us with 60. And remember, we're talking in percentages here. So our answer to what percentage of the fruit basket is apples, that is going to be 60%. 60%. And you could also just see that since there are 100 fruit, each fruit itself is going to be 1%. So we could have already known that 60% is going to be apples and then 40% is going to be oranges, because percentage talks in terms of hundreds, and we have a total of 100 here. So just counting the fruits would give us the percentage, but we did it the proper way. Let's do one more problem. Okay, so this problem tells us that David's salary increased from 50,000 to 55,000. What is the percentage increase in his salary? Okay, so to find the percentage increase, we first need to find the actual value of how much it increased. And we can see here, going from 50,000 to 55,000, that his salary increased $5,000. And we can do that just to make sure. So we have 55,000 minus 50,000. And then if we were to subtract, that's 0.005, and then that would be 0. So it is $5,000. So the percent, or the digit increase in his salary was $5,000. And to find, and the total value that we're looking for, it started out as 50,000. So it increased 5,000 out of 50,000. Okay, 5,000 out of 50,000. And we can see here, we can actually divide both of these numbers by 1,000. We can divide both of them by 1,000. So 5,000 divided by 1,000 will be, we'll rewrite this down here. 5,000 divided by 1,000 will be 5. And then 50,000 divided by 1,000 will be 50. Will be 50. Okay, so now we're going to turn this into a decimal. So 50, let's see, 5 divided by 50, well, we can do that division. So 5 into 50, 5 into 50, or sorry, it's the other way around. It is the other way around. We're putting 50 into 5. 50 and a 5. So this is going to be 0. And then we're going to add a decimal place. See, we're subtracting 0 here, subtracting 0. So that is going to be 5. And then we add a number, or we add a 0 after the decimal place and drop that down. So 50 goes into 50 one time. 50 goes into 50, sorry. 50 goes into 50 one time. So our decimal increase, if we're talking in a whole number, is 0.1. So this is equal to 0.1. And remember, we're asked for the percentage increase. The percentage increase. So we're going to multiply this by 100. Multiply this by 100. So our answer to the percentage increase, well, multiplying by 100 is going to move the decimal place 2 places. We can imagine that there's a 0 here, and then we put the decimal there. So the percentage increase is 10%. So David's salary increased 10%. And let me write the percentage here. His salary increased 10%, and we are done.